think it's moving. Let's try that. Lucky we're recording there. Because that won't be in camera. Right,
It doesn't matter if it's on camera. It's just a bag.
It's part of the set now.
Yeah, it's just part of
It's really elevated the set.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch Podcast. It's fantastic to have you along with us. And I've got a new co-host today.
Woo.
Hudson, welcome.
Thank you.
From behind the camera to in front of the camera.
We're making our way up. I'm going for host next.
Oh, you have a fight on your hands for that one. This is my podcast, as we've said many times before. What is it called? Joel Revival. Quin, hello.
Hello.
And welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a long time since you've been on.
It's been a long time.
Hudson, you were doing the research.
It's been 3 years.
3 years.
It was the 6th episode.
6th episode.
Wow.
And I think this is 136? 137. So we got so close to just being 130 episodes later. But here you are.
Here I am.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
With another child since last time.
Apparently, yes. It just appeared.
I don't know that's why we've got you on. It's like, how did this happen? Welcome to Koa as well, who's just very calmly playing at your feet and unpacking your bag.
Well, it's his bag, so.
It is his bag. It's quite a nice bag, actually. Oh, some tissues. And, well, I'm sure we'll hear from Koa at some point during the podcast. But thank you for coming, Koa.
Yeah, cool, Joel.
Nothing
cool.
right now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a nice colour, actually.
Yes, it is good.
Big fan.
Big fan. Even though it's not on camera, it's big fan of that colour. We'll take a photo before.
Yeah, take a photo and then you get like the name of the colour and then you can search it up and it instantly gives you a photo of the colour.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's an app you can do it actually.
I thought, because the Apple has that thing where you can take a photo of a plant and it identifies what plant it is, which is pretty cool.
That's very handy.
Well, is it?
Well, if you're into that.
Yeah,
if
that's
you're
true.
a green thumb.
Yeah, well, my wife is a green thumb and
Yes,
she likes doing it.
As is Ross.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Loves his indoor plants.
Oh, yeah, I do like indoor plants. The ones that work inside, they're fun. Well, they look nice anyway. It's the same thing with flowers. I appreciate flowers, but I don't know anything about them. So I don't even know I know what a rose is, but I don't think I can name any other flower. Maybe a sunflower. That's about it. Tulips I could probably do.
No, Ross has this like indoor plant hospital.
Hospital.
Because he kept on killing them.
I was going to say,
so now he's just bought like 2 of each, and so he just swaps them out.
Oh, and one goes to the hospital, and
like
one
they
comes
go
back
outside on our driveway,
and they come inside to
and
die.
then they come. Yeah, pretty much. They go outside for some optimum sun. I don't know, plant conditions, and then he swaps them out.
It's like the reverse of a cat. You know, cats go outside to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cheese and bacon roll now, Koa.
Yeah, I think it's 2 days old. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
might as well bring it.
Hudson, you've done some research of the previous episode that Quin was on.
Yes.
Can you tell us the topics that we hit, just as a gentle reminder, because we can't remember all? It was 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of notes going on here. Here we go.
So your chip preference last time was chicken salt.
Hang on. Now, just before you go on, Hudson, sorry. The tagline of now that we have Chip Lunch is Jesus changes, stories of Jesus changing everything, right? Has Jesus changed your chip preference? Is my question.
No.
Still chicken salt?
My chip preference has remained
the same?
for many years.
How many lots of hot chips with chicken salt do you think you've consumed in the last 3 years? What would be your estimate?
I don't even, a lot.
A lot, you reckon?
A lot.
Come on, let's have a number.
I don't know, like, well, it wouldn't be once a week. That's too many chips.
Okay.
Maybe like...
A couple of times a month?
No, not even.
Okay. So we're getting closer.
Maybe like once every 2 months, I guess.
Once
as
every
an
2
average.
months. Okay.
I'd probably eat more McDonald's fries than hot chips with chicken salt.
Can't get chicken salt at McDonald's, can you?
No, but that one that wouldn't be good.
Do you remember shaker fries though? Remember they used to?
Yeah, I never got into them.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
I mean, people were
but you would
mad
put
for
this.
them.
You haven't? Have you
Yeah,
done that, Hudson?
they did not like them.
Yeah.
They had
put
loaded
in-
fries, which were good. But
Oh yeah,
put some gravy on them. They were.
yeah. Okay,
It wasn't good gravy, but it was just like the quality of Macca's, to be honest.
okay.
I enjoyed it.
I don't remember they had loaded fries.
Yeah, they had gravy on them, and then they also had like a cheese and bacon one.
Ooh.
Oh,
Which I don't think was good.
Quin is not a fan of that.
No.
Okay, so we'll say if you like once every 2 months, that's got to be 6 times a year.
18.
18. Thank you. Quick maths. 18. You reckon you've had 18 lots of hot chips since then?
Since last podcast.
Let's round it up to 20.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably not, but sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot.
And you've had one child since the last podcast.
Not 20 children, just one.
But you do have 4.
Do
so
have
you
4.
you're collecting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The set is complete.
Okay.
Yeah, set is complete at 4.
Right. Okay. Got it. I remember Karen once saying, I want as many children so I can have a bus. I'm like,
Oh.
that's nice, but I don't want
nice.
to. I don't want to do that. I do not want to bus my children around. The most closest I get to that is Remy, my youngest, asked for a bus ride from the couch to the bedroom.
Oh,
So she just gets on the back, and gosh, that hurts your knees though. Crawling on hard floor for
I
a
bet.
long way.
You're crawling?
Things
Yeah,
you
because
do.
she gets on my back, so I've got to crawl.
Okay. Yeah.
Sacrifices you make.
Yeah,
as a
sacrifices you
parent.
make for your children, Hudson.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait. All right, let's go back into the topics. What
Yes.
else did we?
How she grew up. You
Well-
went to Grace Point. I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Grace
Represent.
Point
Yeah.
Public,
Yeah.
as you did.
I did.
Did you not?
I did.
Mm.
Very happy with that.
Okay, good.
Then you went to Curie High School.
Mhm.
But then you talked about school experience. So you
Mm.
talked about a bit about primary and then how your friendship group transitioned into high school. You had one friend go to a different school, Port Hacking High School.
Mm.
And then like the friendship troubles and then a big focus on changing mind around justice and injustice.
Oh yeah, that's right. I know. I do remember that because I remember you changed friendship groups, and that was a bit of a thing in high school for you. But you did it a lot mainly because of being a Christian, right? Yeah, right. It's just remembering that time.
Yes. Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Do you have any more thoughts on that though? Before we go into other things of the podcast, do you have any more thoughts about? Are you glad you made that decision, even though it was hard?
Oh yeah, 100%. I guess the only real regret is I don't really have any close friends from high school anymore. So we had our 20-year high school reunion last
Did you go?
year. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
It was 3 weeks after I had COA.
Okay.
So I was like, you know,
Here I am.
hello everybody. They're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I was curious. And like everyone was like lovely and nice, but and a few people were saying, oh, we should catch up again after this. And it's like, yeah, never going to happen.
Oh,
But,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Isn't it funny that after high school, you like see people have like had kids and worked for a long time, and then you're like, oh, you are kind of like just doing things that I've been doing, like,
Yeah.
and it's good to catch up. And then it's like, but you still hold on to all the things from high school sometimes.
Yes, like a lot of people were exactly the same.
Right.
I'm sure I was am very similar as well, but it's like
in their interactions and stuff.
yeah, just like one of the guys said to me something like, "Oh, you're that girl with glasses," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I am."
That's the only thing you
That's
remember.
the only thing. So yeah. Anyway,
Because you wear contact lenses now, don't you?
I do,
Most
but
of the time.
I have to give my eyes a rest every now and then.
So you have a sleep or what?
No, I take them out and I wear my glasses for a week every now and
Oh
then.
yeah.
Because the optometrist said that I had microscopic holes in my eyes.
Oh really? That's a little bit intense.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure about the accuracy of that statement, but I'm like, he's like, you're not allowed to wear contacts ever again. And I said, well, that's not going to happen.
Have the holes closed up now?
Yes, I went and had them rechecked and my eyes are fine.
What is the cause of microscopic holes in your eyes?
I have a feeling something got under my contact lens and it got scratched.
Oh.
That's what I think is what happened. I'm not an optometrist.
No.
That would be my suggestion.
No.
Anyway,
I
my
feel
system's working for now.
Great. I feel like sometimes I do like it when I'm like every so often I notice you're wearing glasses, but it's because it's the holes.
It's the holes. Well, and also I saw this. Sorry, this is a bit of a tangent. I saw this like random thing on Instagram. This lady in America was wearing contact lenses, and she had a shower, like just as you do, regular shower, and some water got in between the contact lens and the eye, and it causes this bacteria that eats away at your cornea.
Ugh.
So she had to get a corneal transplant. Anyway,
Okay.
I've never heard of that before, that bacteria. Like when I have my contacts in, they're ones that can stay in for a month. And so like I shower with them, I sleep with them, I swim with them, whatever. Like, I'm like, so now I'm a little bit paranoid.
You fear unlocked.
You fit, yeah.
I don't even wear contacts.
This is the problem with the internet. I got one of those the other day too about wearing my AirPods.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, now I'm really worried about it.
Right?
And I've been,
I'm like, it's probably never going to happen. But it like, and the treatment for this bacteria, because it can just keep on eating away and like go to your brain. Like it's really bad. Some people get blind from it. And she has, before she had the surgery, she had to put eye drops in every hour for like months on end. So you can't even sleep. Like it's full on.
You have to wake up to put it in. Oh.
All she did was have a shower, not even go swimming in a lake or something. I'm like, what?
I've got a question though. Is she showering with her eyes open?
Which she said no. Like it sounded like she was just showering normally and like washing her face or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and so anyway. Yeah. New fear unlocked.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's your process in the shower, Hudson? Do you wash your hair first, or do you? What do you?
I actually don't wash my hair. I use water.
Oh, so you're like the kind of don't do the shampoo thing, and like
just
the
shampoo.
the
It just
oils.
made my hair like I just didn't like how now it's like because my hair gets really thin when I shampoo it. So I was just like, no. And it's also just so much easier.
Apparently it's good for curly hair not to use shampoo.
Well, I didn't even have curly hair before. Well, I think it's because I was really short.
Look what's happened.
And now it's
so
looking like my
healthy.
mum.
Like your mum. I don't think you look heaps like your mum.
Well, she just got curly hair. That's
okay.
And then her side of the family has very curly hair. So.
Oh wow, yeah, right. I've just got back into my cold showers.
Oh no.
You know, in 2021, I only had 2 warm showers all year.
That's wild.
I was very proud of that statistic, but I haven't managed to get
what were
that
your
close.
2 warm showers?
I think when I was sick
Yeah.
or something. I was a bit achy, so I had a hot shower, but yeah.
Damn.
For a little while, Kobe was doing this. He'd have a warm shower and then for the last minute, he'd turn it on freezing.
See, I reckon that's harder. I reckon that's heaps harder.
What are you doing?
Because like people are like, oh, so what do you do? Do you like go hot and then just like make it colder? I'm like, I started doing that and I found that harder because I'd be less likely to do it. I'm just like cold straight away. And it's hard to start it, but then you just get used to it. Like
No, it's not my thing.
Yeah, my favorite part though is when you get out and like your body's like, oh, I've got to warm you up. So you get this like flush of blood and that's the best feeling. You know, when you like get out of, like you've been swimming and it's been a bit cold and you get out and put like fresh clothes on. That's the feeling you get every day with a cold shower.
No, I like a scalding hot shower, like burn my skin off.
Wow.
Shower.
I think if I do have a hot shower, I go pretty hot. Well, speaking of, we've got Ko here. I don't think we talked too much on the last podcast about being a mum.
No, probably because it was more about high school stuff.
Well, I think, and originally we started the Chip Lunch talking about often like people become Christians in high school and things like that. And one of the reasons we had Lewis on the first time was because he became a Christian after high school, as an example. So something that I do ask all the parents that come on is that what has God taught you through being a parent, Quin?
Oh, goodness. Probably a bit of patience.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Ross and I are heaps big on consistency and what they hear from me is what they hear from him. What they hear from him is what they hear from me. That's one of the biggest things that they get pulled up for, is if they be a bit sneaky.
Probably a good thing to be pulled up for being sneaky.
But yeah. So
You talked about like the opposite of do what I say, not do as I do. Have you seen do you have like an example of where that really sticks in your mind about being a parent?
I think like it's hard. You can't be 100% consistent all the time, but for all you church kids growing up, I'm sure you there were times when you were at church and your mum said, all right, we're going to go now, or we're going to go in 10 minutes, and then like 2 hours later you're still waiting there for your mum to finish having conversation. Or
at church.
At church. It's like...
Is that you nodding there, Hudson?
Yes.
He knows.
It's better now because I just drive home, but
Yeah, exactly.
or I stay later. But
Yeah.
It's time to go. I want to get out of here. Mum.
I do that at family gatherings a lot.
Oh, do
I
you?
just like, and that, like I'll do like my little lap, like just like go past them, and they're like, okay,
Okay, it's
like
time. It's time.
Hudson's calling it.
And that's just a simple example. But yeah, I don't know. There's a whole host of examples. Like when it comes to interactions with people, you know, like you don't just choose to be kind to people who are easy to be kind to. You know, you love and show kindness to everyone, and yeah.
And you
Stuff
grew.
like
I
that.
suppose what you're saying there, like growing up at church, that was something that I think was ingrained into you as well. Because what was the age that your mum said that you could decide where you didn't want to go to church or not?
16.
It was 16, so you had to go to church until you were 16, and then you could decide whether you wanted to go or not.
Yeah. But
Yep.
for Tyson and Zach, she upped it to 18.
That's interesting. They're both back at church now, which is great.
It's
Maybe it did work.
obviously worked.
Yeah. Did you have an age limit, Hudson?
no,
Because how old are you now? Are you 19?
19 this year. So
19 this
18
year.
at the moment.
Okay.
No, it wasn't really talked about. We just kind of went. There wasn't like you have to go or like you can stop going at this certain point. It's kind of like we just went, and I guess now it's my option to not go or to go.
Mm. Is there like I suppose this question is for both of you guys, because I grew up in a non-Christian family. That expectation to be at church or to go to church, is that was that often a frustration, or was it just an understanding of like, oh, this is what we do?
Do you want to go?
Okay, I'll go.
You go first.
Definitely a frustration when I was younger. Like there's things I have to miss out on to go to this thing, and now it's like, good, because I'm just like, yeah, this is just what we do. And it's I was listening to my dad's podcast, start of this year, and I was
Episode
like,
101, I think, isn't it?
I have no clue.
think it is.
I didn't do that research, but
101 or 102. It was right after Lose. Yep.
But yeah, and saying like his actions being so like intentional, and like this is like he wanted us there, and he's like, this is like what I do and why I do it, and it just like made me be like, oh, that's sick. And but being before listening to that, I was a bit like frustrated that I had to, like, there was an expectation, especially with like dinner and stuff. Like you had to help with dinner because we're on like whenever we're on and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating when I was younger,
Yeah.
but lovely now because it's just like a fun family thing that we do,
Right. I see.
which I don't think there's many, like, especially with like how busy our lives are. There's not many family things that we get to do together.
Okay.
I think it's really nice to have that.
Yeah. Cool. What do you think, Quin? Is that similar for you?
I think similar. I think as I got older and wanted to flex my independence a little bit, there were certainly times, like I think I said in my last podcast, there was a time when I was in year 6 and I didn't want to go to church, and like had this massive fight with Mum, and she said She called me a witch and told me to get out of the car. And so I went back upstairs again while they went to church.
Oh, really? You stayed at home?
And she has no recollection of that.
Oh.
But it's stuck in my mind, obviously. And then, I don't know, certainly as I started making my own decisions, I could see what was more beneficial, perhaps, and what wasn't.
What was the chosen alternative for you guys, like not wanting to go to church? Like, what did you want to do instead?
I think mainly it was like either just staying at home or it was hanging out with friends who weren't at church.
Yep. Same for you, Hudson?
When I like younger, it was just wanted to stay home. I was a very big home person, and then the occasional party. But now it's like my friends are off doing stuff that I've don't actually want to do, so I don't have like an issue with it now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is so much better than whatever they're doing.
Which is very similar to what you just said, right? It's like,
yeah.
So you're glad that you kind of got through that period of almost being forced to go, but what it showed you in the long term was being committed and turning up to church was really important.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's certainly something that Ross and I are trying to instill in our kids now.
Same.
Is that this is important. This is what we do. And because now certainly for Kobe, he has a lot of as he's getting older, a lot of friends' parties and stuff are being put on like a Friday night or a Saturday night. And he's got to make the decision about what he's going to do. So.
Does your experience help kind of have that discussion with him? Because Ross didn't grow up in a Christian household, right?
His parents went to church when he was like early teenager, and then so I guess like half.
Yeah, okay. Half and half.
But I think Ross is very similar in his thoughts on that.
What about those discussions with Kobe though? Because is he 12 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Just the other day.
Yeah, that's right. It was just his birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's 12 now, kind of that age, the year 6, he's in year 6 this year, isn't he? Going to high school next year.
Yeah.
And so your experience, I'm guessing you don't call him a witch.
No. Maybe some other names, but not a witch.
It'd be funny if you called him a witch.
You're a witch.
And then he like gets dressed up as one. Is like, I'm not going to church. Like your experiences help you and Ross have conversations with him in regards to that?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. But I think, I don't know. I think the similarity is that I want him to make the choice. And I think I'm hoping he has the strength of character to do that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be difficult to navigate, I think.
So you're not setting an age limit?
No. He knows, like they all know that we had an age limit. And, but he says stuff to me before like, oh, don't worry, Mum, I'll be there anyway, so you don't need to worry. So that's really cute.
That's so cool.
But yeah, who knows?
It's the same. Like I have conversations with, what do we have? Like last Friday night, we had a football gala night, and sort of Coach Leo's team, and so we had a discussion about it. I said, "Do you want to do this?" But he's like, "Is that on the same time as Fuse, like the Friday night group?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And he's like, And I was like, "What are we thinking about?" He's like, "Well, I usually go to Fuse, and this is just a one-off thing at the end of the season." I'm like, "Yeah." And I think that's a good way to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think my other question is, and Hudson might be able to help us with this too, is I wonder if the way that you grow up at church and the things that you did at church when you went, was that as exciting as maybe that our kids are doing, because we do kids rather differently at Soul Revival. Like they're actually excited. Like I know my children always want to go to church at the moment, and they're 10, 8 and 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are other interesting things as you grow up as a teenager that might pull you away from church in that regard.
Yeah. I think the way we do stuff at church, with particularly things being all age or stage, Kobe's, it's like, I speak about Kobe because he's moving through. Maeve's not in Fuse yet. She will be at the end of this. At the end of this term, next term. But there's certainly the all age, all stage focus. Like Kobe in particular is really excited to hang out with leaders and kids older than him.
Yeah.
So he's always got that to look forward to.
Something to grow up into.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like he sees that happen. And because Ross and I still lead late night, like we tag team with that, he knows that that's also coming like in the future as well. So
my mum and dad are going to lead me.
No, I'm not sure we'll be around at that point in time. But like that's, I think that sort of sets something to show up for, to be excited for, to
there's something to look forward to.
More the relationships, I think, is the exciting part.
Because Hudson, like, you grew up in the church. So if you talk about the church, Soul Revival Church has been around for 12 years. So that means if you're 18, you would have started coming to church when you were 6?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Because it was just established that there would have been less, like, those kind of structures and things in place for you, so you grow up into. Do you think that maybe had an influence on how much you wanted to come to church?
Well, I was a very anxious kid, so I think, and also hanging out with older people, I was not a fan of. So I think,
no, thank you.
I wasn't keen on it. But now being older and seeing, we have such a good young crew here at Soul Revival, so I think I'm super stoked to be able to be the older person in that situation, and I'm super pumped to get to know a bunch of people. Like, just walking into church and saying hi to like a bunch of different generations is like the funniest thing ever. And it's great. And like last week we were just on Kids Chill.
Yeah, we were. You and me.
And we were just playing soccer with some kids, and it was great.
Yeah. They love it.
Yeah, I think
if Kobe could do that like every time we went to church, he'd be a happy guy.
Yeah, he was loving it.
He was
last week, wasn't he? He was banging to it. Yeah, I think that's only an observation again, because I just started going to Soul Revival Youth when I was in year 10. But yeah, I could still see there was somewhere to grow up into what we called Soulies, which is now late night. It was the same thing, and then becoming a leader and doing the same thing again. Whereas, unfortunately, you weren't able to experience that as much. So, but you can do it on the older end rather than the younger end. But yeah, that's cool. You spoke about leading late night, Quin. How has that shifted over? Like, we talked about the history of the church for 12 years now.
I don't know.
I think you were a late night leader from the very beginning. Would that be right?
Yeah, Ross and I used to lead Soulies,
didn't you? Yeah.
Beforehand, so we just sort of kept on doing that.
Leading late night. So you were doing it Soulies.
Yeah.
Now you're doing it, but you've been doing it late night.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, how's that changed over the 12 years? Like the historical significance of Soul Revival. And late night is really important, or if you want to call it Soulies, is really important to the way that we help people grow up as being friends first. We're friends first, and then we can lead in different areas.
Yes.
And also just encourage people who are younger than, in high school can actually go out and be Christians. That was a big part of Soulies. How has late night changed over the 12 years of leading it? Because you've been, it's 12 years, it's quite a while.
Yeah, I think it's changed a bit depending on who we have coming up. So we had a couple of years ago, we had a bit of a gap in numbers, like in leaders. So that was a little bit tricky. And it's certainly changed since having kids. Ross and I obviously used to be there every week, and now we tag team. And so that's a little bit more tricky for consistency. Like if you say to someone, "Oh, I'll see you next week," but I won't actually see you next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like consistency of relationship.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah. Okay.
And like just in terms of who's at late night each week, like if you miss somebody 1 week and then they don't come the next 2 weeks, you might only see them once a month or something.
Yeah.
So that's hard. And yes, certainly having late night lead on from the gathering is presents a couple of challenges.
In what way?
I think when we just did Solies on a Saturday night, it meant that you were coming to that. That's what you were coming to. Mm-hmm. So we'd have commitments first, which was a time to chat about culture, chat about living as Christian.
6:30 to 7:30, wasn't it? Yeah.
Chat about any issues, and then from 7:30 on, we'd do whatever we had planned for the night. Whereas with late night being after the gathering, I guess the gathering is in effect commitments, for lack of a better word. But I guess, some people have perhaps thought that's it for Saturday night. I'm going to go home now. So the challenge is to, we're going to keep on hanging out. It's going to be awesome. And certainly that has, I think, having late night after the gathering, we've seen heaps more people want to hang out afterwards, and that's been really good.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But at first, it was certainly a bit of a challenge.
It's difficult to shift people's mindset to going, like, we're going to keep hanging out for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I think perhaps a lot of people were like, well, why? Why would we keep on hanging out? Like, we've done this.
What's your answer to that? I'd love to hear what your answer is.
One, because it's fun, but two, because like you can't be friends with people unless you hang out with them. Like I often have conversations with younger people that when we used to lead Solies, we did that. Then we went to church on Sunday night. Then we had Bible study. Then we'd have a blah during the week.
Yeah.
And then some of us were doing other ministries at church. Like I was doing kids ministry as well on Sunday morning. It was just church. But it never felt hard because we wanted to hang out. We wanted to do it, and it was fun to lead together as a group of friends. And I think the only way you can be real friends with people is by hanging out, by doing life together. So, late nights are heaps good opportunity to do that. So, yeah.
I was going to ask you though, you also see, we're talking about you having kids and it's a bit more, it's difficult to like at least build relationships with people. But you and Ross have really placed an importance on that and see it as a significant part of the ministry that you do, doing late night. Can I ask you, is that the only reason, like in terms of hanging out, or do you have other thoughts in terms of we're going to keep doing this and try and make it work, even if we have to change how we're operating as a family? Like, why do you see that as so significant to actually make that work?
Well, I think and it's not just Ross and I that make late night happen. There's a whole, there's a whole team of leaders that are doing an awesome job.
You've been there since the beginning, that's all.
Yeah. But I guess it's because we see it as important and we want something for our kids to grow up into. We want it to still, be there for when it's their time. So they have a safe space to hang out as Christians and,
Is it because also that you had, you also obviously enjoyed having that yourself while you could, before you became a leader?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Questions?
Yeah, but I got a big one.
Oh, sweet. Edit it in.
I want to talk about because last time you were talking about your injustice and like how you changed to like your view on that. I just want to talk about that a bit because I think as a bit ago when I was younger, I was very big on like holding people accountable and seeing not Christians do bad things. Like if a leader was like perhaps a bit mean or something, in my view, that was very hard to be like. And the same thing you were saying, that you didn't hold yourself to those standards as well. I was a rat bag as well. So yeah, like that was something I was thinking about when I watched your podcast. I was like, I had the same thing, and I think I've got a lot better at it, but it's definitely still way to go.
Yeah. I think with life experience, you get a lot more patient with people and things. You get a lot more comfortable with sitting in the grey, perhaps, not being so black and white all the time. And like, still I am in danger of just cutting straight to you can't do that. Like, come on. And like quite often still Ross will like say stuff to me like, how about you just calm down a little bit? Like, it's going to be all right. And so like as I've got older, I have learned to have a bit more grace with people. And obviously God has been changing that in me, and a lot more understanding of people's capabilities, a lot more understanding of people's experiences. And I think certainly after having kids, you, I guess, like some people can be quite shaken by that, and it takes a little while for them to recalibrate, I guess, into their new normal. And so having a bit more patience with people and understanding of people with that.
So I've been thinking about truth and love a little bit lately. And do you think you're sometimes a bit too much on the truth?
Oh, 100%.
And not enough on the love? Yeah,
100%.
Okay. Is that because you have high expectations of yourself?
Probably.
And then you transfer those expectations onto other people?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Because you grew up like reasonably independent and stuff too. Like you had to look after a lot of...
yes.
Well, you looked after your brothers
Yep.
and stuff a fair bit because it's a big family.
Yeah.
And there was a need to be responsible. And
Yeah.
I remember you saying that too. Yeah.
And I think like just grew up with, well, if something needs to get done, it needs to get done. It needs to happen. Like otherwise A, B, C, D can't happen. So it's like, you know, I'm not feeling great this morning, but doesn't matter. It just needs to get done. And yeah, sometimes that's helpful and sometimes that's absolutely not helpful.
Yeah. And I can kind of hear a little bit that too in how I behave. It's like, well, yeah, it just needs to get done. So why aren't we doing it? And it'd be different things. Like I've probably frustrated you in that at some point during our friendship.
No.
But it is interesting that I think you're right. As you get older, even just the way you say things to people, you just like, even if you still want to speak the truth, like you manage to do it in a more loving way.
Yes.
Rather than, and like that's a discussion that you and I have had like off microphone, is that you have pretty high expectations yourself too, Hudson, right? So, and it's funny that sometimes the high expectations, if we're not meeting our own high expectations, I'm like, well, I'll make someone else meet them. You know what I mean? Like that's what you end up doing. But sometimes that, as you're saying, it's not very helpful.
No. Like even this morning, me running late, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really bad. Like I hate keeping people waiting, like, you know, blah. But this is just what's happened and it's fine. We're doing this podcast now. There's no, like, the world has not ended. Yeah.
I think the interesting thing though is that because we have a relationship, I knew that you wouldn't be doing it on purpose. Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, oh, Quin's running a bit late, like, but I think maybe because I know that a little bit, probably because we spent a fair bit of time together
Yeah.
throughout Solies and late night
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
those kind of things,
yeah.
that we know that like you're not doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
I think the thing that really bothers me is when I know someone's done it on purpose, or they're like, I've not seen it as important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like,
Come on, guys.
come on, man.
Yeah.
But it was the coffee, right? Wasn't it just they just need to serve faster, right?
Well, yes. It was my need for coffee. The need for coffee before discussion.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
What did, going off the back of that, it was a good question, Hudson. Going off the back of that,
Good job.
good job.
You can come again.
Yeah, yes. We've kind of missed the gap in your story from talking about you finished high school and like became a leader and stuff like that. Then we've kind of talked about, I think we heard about like your story about getting together with Ross and things like that. But I'm interested about after that. We always like to delve into people's career and things like that. You originally trained as a teacher. Did you ever end up doing teaching? And first of all, why did you want to be a teacher? That's my first question.
I think I wanted to be a teacher because I really like kids. They're a fun group of people to hang out with. And I was the first person in my family to go to university.
Oh, a bit like Lee, actually. Lee was the same.
Yeah. So like education was not really pushed on mum's side of the family. And so I saw teaching as not an easy thing to get into, but as an achievable thing for me at that point to get into. It turned out the year that I decided to apply for uni was the year that everyone wanted to be a teacher.
Oh, really?
So I actually didn't get in first bite of the cherry. And I went to TAFE for 2 years and got my diploma first, and then went to uni. And yes, I did teach for a couple of years. Taught year 3, taught year 2, and that was really great. And then I couldn't get a permanent position. And
The story of many teachers.
I know. And like certainly that process has come leaps and bounds nowadays, which is good. But they at that stage they said, oh, if you want to go out to like Broken Hill and teach for a year, or if you want to go to somewhere rural and teach for a year, then you'll definitely get a permanent position back in the Shire. I'm like, well, I want to do that. Like, I've got other things going on, like church stuff. I'm trying to think. I don't think Ross and I were married yet at that point in time, but it's just not something that I wanted to do, had a desire to do. I didn't want to move away. So I just sat with it for a little while, and then I went back to early childhood and started teaching in long daycare and preschools.
Yeah, I always appreciate when people do jobs that I would not want to do. So I love kids, but I don't think I'd want to be a preschool teacher and things like that. But I also, I was just thinking, I'm just doing the certificate of theology right now and advanced pastoral care, which is like some very like acute cases of mental illness and things like that. And I'm like, there's no way I could do that job consistently. And I'm like, so that it just reminded me of those kind of jobs. It's like, there's so many things that people do that I would not want to do, and I'm thankful for them doing it. So thank you.
Yeah.
What about also some things about, like, as I said, the tagline now that, and thanks to Jared for coming up with this, and She Plunges, story of Jesus changing everything. As we look back, like over all these different things that we're kind of talking about, even in the last podcast, where do you think Jesus has changed the most in you? Like, what has he changed the most in you? What did you know? What do you know now that you didn't know before? I'm starting to lead to the question that I'm gonna we ask at the end, which we didn't have the last question when we did your podcast.
No.
So I'll ask you soon. Don't worry.
Okay. I think like probably my priorities. Yeah, I think like and possibly that feeling of being okay with where I'm at and seeing that as a blessing. So certainly, so I stopped working after I had Maeve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nearly 9 years ago or something, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, so you just stay at home? Oh, you're just a mum?" And I'd be like, "Yes, just a mum. That's all I'm doing." Like as if that's a waste.
Yeah.
And I think, and certainly it it unsettled me after a little while because I always thought that I should be doing something else, like, you know, or something better, or, you know.
We talked about the high expectations thing
High
already.
expectations. And I think, yeah, it's taken me a long time to be okay with being a mum and being around and seeing it as an absolute blessing that I'm able to do that Ross and I are able to. That's the situation that we've been able to do. And it doesn't mean that I won't go back to work at some point in time in the future, but at the moment that's me being okay with that has been good.
It sounds like it might have taken a while though.
Yeah.
What do you think helped you shift? Like, is there a moment that you remember that you're like kind of getting beyond that high expectations of yourself?
I don't think there was like a specific moment, but probably just being like a bit older now, I think.
Caring less about other people,
I
or what
think
other
so.
people think of you as well.
I think so. And probably just being older.
What do you turn that scenario into? So you're just at home all the time. First of all, your initial response is like, "Yes, I am a mum." Right?
Yes, I just lie around all day.
Yeah. I remember Karen reading once on a mum's forum on Facebook or something. It's just like a mum was complaining about her husband, and he's like, "He just says I'm on a permanent holiday all the time." Like, far out, man.
Tropical holiday every day.
What's your response to when people say that? Oh, so you just stay home all day? You don't have a job? I know not what you say in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you say out loud?
As I've said earlier, I've learned to have a lot more grace with people.
Yeah.
And I would, say things. I just say what I do.
Yeah.
Always doing something, being a taxi, keeping the house going, doing errands, all the things.
I just don't think there's a need to be embarrassed by that.
Yeah, I know. It's just,
But then there's like societal expectations and things, and
And because also, like, I have friends who are mums who work full time, or if not, do a full time load and don't get paid properly for it, which angers me to no end. And I'm like,
is that injustice
Injustice.
things?
And so I see them doing it, and I'm like, I'm in awe and incredibly inspired by them. So that I'm like, well, if they can do it, then I should be able to do it. But so those sorts of things too.
But that's you transferring expectations again. Hey?
I know.
Mm.
So but it also means that I'm able to be around to do things like this. I'm around to get things organised for ministry activities on the weekend. I'm around to look after other people's kids, which I've done a lot of over the years.
Yeah.
And gladly done because I'm there, you know. So that's been really nice.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is that you aren't sitting around
No.
having a line.
Having a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that you can, but you're saying it was a blessing, but it also creates opportunity for you to do things like that.
Yeah.
And I just think, I would like to hear what you actually say to people when they're like, "Oh, so you're on a permanent holiday, are you?"
Must be so easy.
Everyone has easy things. Everyone has different things. Well, Ko has been extremely patient, but I thought I'd ask, but he looks like he's getting ready to go. Can I ask the last question?
Sure.
Which is, we'll combine the two podcasts, even though the other one was 3 years ago. But
Ooh.
looking, this is why I'm saying that last question was kind of related to this. Looking back over your life, what do you wish you could tell your younger Christian self that you know now?
I think just actually just be a Christian. Like actually just do it. Like
yeah, it's so
you know
much
what I
like
mean?
your truth thing of like, just do it. Yeah, but
just
tell me more about that though.
Just do it. I think I actually think my brother Zach finished with a similar line on his podcast from memory. That's interesting.
Yep.
Just don't worry about other things, like just be a Christian, because it's like certainly growing up at school, in high school and into uni, like certainly at school we were encouraged to share our faith because it's the best opportunity you have. You're around these people for a long time, for a set time.
Yep.
And I wish I didn't waste that opportunity because I was either scared of people knowing that I was a Christian or, you know, ashamed. But I'll never have that opportunity again. Similar at TAFE, similar at uni, similarly at work. I'll never have that opportunity to be around that many non-Christians again. And so I think, now I would tell my younger self to don't waste those opportunities.
Wow, that's cool.
Just do the things because it does. In the end, it doesn't matter. Like going to my 20-year school reunion, like it doesn't. It made as it doesn't matter.
Did you tell them that you were a Christian? You kind of like say we go to church or something like that.
Yeah.
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 I think that's a really good point though.
Yeah.
I don't think that's helpful for younger. I mean, I was the same. I look back and like, I was a Christian, but like from year 10 kind of thing. And I'm like, I didn't really tell people about it. And especially like I really committed in year 12.
Yeah.
And even then I was just like, I wonder why I didn't. I don't know. I don't think I was worried about social exclusion though. So I don't know why I didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it just wasn't cool. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. But like our leaders would constantly say it and I would just be like, yeah, whatever, it's cool. Like people do what they want to do, you know. If they want to become a Christian, I'm here.
Yeah.
But
I'll help them.
Yeah. But you know, it's like don't waste it.
Don't waste it. But I see that what you were talking about before, like, you know, being on a permanent holiday as a mum, you're not wasting it because you're helping other people.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to think
You're using the opportunities that are presented to you to help other people.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like, look, we always learn from the things that we did. And especially like being a parent as well, you always like, I don't want to grow up like that. So you like, they're the things that you like really almost overcorrect on with your kids. But you do that also in life, I think.
Yeah.
And in a way, it can be good if it overcomes you. Then maybe that's a bit too much. But I think it's cool to see that you like are kind of easing up on yourself a little bit more, with the expectations thing. But as a result of what you've learned, you're trying to put in a lot of effort to serving and taking care of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. It's cool. Hudson, do you have any final words? This is what I always ask Brad.
I was just thinking, like, big up to mums.
Big up to the mums.
Big ups.
Shout out to all the
Big
mums out
ups.
there.
Oh,
Shout out to the
seriously.
mums. I agree.
Like 100%.
They're great.
There's some badass mums at church. It's very good.
I agree. I very much agree. Is that all you had to say?
I was just thinking about that for the past 5 minutes.
It's like, this is going to be good.
Yeah. This is going to be be good. Hold on to this. Just
gonna
wait.
be the one.
At some point, I'm going to be able to say something.
Don't forget.
You also talked about your mum, and you got hair of your mum.
Well, my mum's at home now because she's not working, so I'm seeing her more often.
Send her the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Send her Quin's podcast.
No, I thought you said like get her on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, you're a producer. That's your job. I've tried quite hard with your mum.
I'll tell you something after, but yes, I will.
All right, excellent.
I will talk to her.
Let's do that. That's a good. I need a few more guests. That'd be great. Didn't know. I've got a few coming up, but as we've had a bit of a lull in asking people, and they're saying no. So sort yourselves out, guys.
I assume that's why you asked me today.
Well, it was inspired by what we do with Lewis. You're 131 episodes
Oh,
ago.
I've got no one else to ask. I'll just ask Quin.
I don't think it was good. Like I said, you've had a child added to the family since the last podcast.
Yes.
I think he's actually having a really good time down there now.
What's he playing with?
Lipstick.
Great.
Lipstick, eh? Anyway, we'll wrap up the chips.
Wrap it up.
We didn't have that line when we finished your chip
Well, it
lunch.
changes when we went here. I missed the table.
Oh, you like having the table?
Yeah.
You just rest
I need
on
like something to rest
Be a
on.
coffee
Well, that's why I
hour.
got my coffee. Anyway,
Oh.
whatever. It's cool.
That's why we've got that table there, but that was the one that Koa was banging on earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't worry. The studio is under planning. The planning
it's
is underway
evolving.
for the evolving studio.
exciting.
Yeah, that's right. It's very exciting. You can come back again when it's
Oh, goodness.
when it's renovated.
Yeah.
Yep, you have another child.
No,
You've,
definitely not.
attacked a few people for accusing you of being a
Various
stay-at-home
things.
mum.
Yeah.
all those things.
Yes, all those things.
Thank you to everyone that's been listening and watching. Thank you very much to Quin
I was.
as well, and to Hudson, who
Oh,
was
great job.
hosted and will be editing this podcast. So thank you very much. And
Thank you for having me.
why do you look so surprised that I'm saying
It's
thank
like-
you to you?
No,
It's
no,
like-
it was
I didn't
like
know I was editing too.
I was going to say something, but
it was like I've never been
this
thanked in
one.
my life before. And I'm like, never been so appreciated.
I'm going to do this more often.
All right, thank you very much, guys. And as always, we finish with a one-way.